Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dragons and minions and critters in the river, welcome to the Gold Advantage on the Best of 3 network. I'm your host Nikita, and with me, as always, are Scoot and BMB, who's throwing up the very white gang signs. We have just concluded an exciting weekend of esports across the board in COD and League. You can, if you're into COD, check out our sister podcast, The Money Hill. But in League World, we just had a great Super Week in the LCS and finished round 1 of playoffs for
By the way,
LEC.
against all odds, that was a great Super Week because like the rest of the season's been boring.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
fair,
the 3 or 4 weeks leading up to it were like chalked a little bit.
I think even then we could probably say that the LCS, even the Super Week, kind of shook out the way we expected it to. But I've been really impressed. I think if we're just diving into it, what's impressed me with the Super Week is that we have a real a contender in 100 Thieves. We have a contender in 100 Thieves who ended up going 7-0, great streak. They dismantled Cloud9.
But they lose to Dignitas on the last day.
Yeah.
Right when you have fucking second place in your grasp. You've worked this hard.
Can you tell that Nikki's excited about 100 Thieves?
How are you gonna lose to a team that's already not gonna be qualified for playoffs? They were out. See ya.
They were?
They were fucking out.
That was it.
That was it.
Done.
Here's the thing. They can go 7-0 all they want because they're not winning their first series of playoffs. It's fine.
Maybe they were testing some shit
I disagree.
out.
So 100 Thieves do really well.
They were
Dismantle
great.
Cloud9, as we were saying.
Dismantle.
They had a
Summit. Some people had Summit as MVP. Not us. Not the 100 Thieves.
I mean, is he not still?
I think Someday played super well against him individually, but also Closer and him. They just had a really good read of Cloud9, and the way 100 Thieves managed the team fights against a good Cloud9 team. This wasn't Cloud9 playing badly. This was just 100 Thieves playing better. And I think that makes me much more excited for playoffs right now. And on top of that,
can I ask a question?
Flip side, Cloud9 1 and 2, and they couldn't secure the number 1 spot in the LCS.
You know who they beat?
No, but we always knew they weren't gonna.
They beat Dignitas.
Ooh. So the circle is complete.
Common opponent, aka Transitive Properties, says that Cloud9 is better than 100.
Deadass.
Not to mention that they
deadass question for you,
Nikki.
Doesn't matter. Do you think, and this is a leading question because I know what my answer is, Cloud9 was just fucking testing some shit out there, knowing that they might have to play 100 Thieves in the first round, which they now are.
Well, they were likely going to play 100 Thieves because
so why would you want to show all your fucking cards in a fucking meaningless, pre-playoff game?
No,
fucking
at that
try
point,
some shit.
Cloud9 was fighting for first place.
They were probably we want to play 100 Thieves.
Cloud9 was those matches mattered because if they had won them, they would lock up first place, which would put them against EG, who was a way easier opponent. So I think it was a legitimate game. It was a legitimate performance. And, oh yeah. Big time.
Maybe they don't view it that way.
Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that?
Yeah, I think so. I am big time. I think so. I think EG is looking better.
I don't know.
EG went 3-0.
Listen, EG we had as top 4 the entire year, and they had a topsy-turvy way of getting there.
But they're top 4.
But they got there.
No, but
by the way,
EG 100 Thieves,
a 500 top 4 team. Fucking 9-9 makes top 4.
Just barely.
That's pretty sad.
At least get a winning record to be top 4.
And look, we nailed the playoff race. We said that it was going to be Golden Guardians, FlyQuest, and EG that make it in.
Yeah, we did.
Said that Dignitas was going to drop out. So I hope you guys were following our bets because you would have made some great money. CLG's run unfortunately comes to an end, but they should be, I think, pretty happy with
33% of their wins.
With the rebuild that they did, yeah. You know what? Like, it's been 10th place.
No, it wasn't.
And they nearly made
I guess they're 2 spots up or whatever.
Who's making playoffs next split?
TSM?
Fuck yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're fucking making that. They might be top 4.
Are.
Like,
listen, TSM, what, they went 1 and 2?
This team is back.
Right? It's still, like, even against Liquid, they still looked like pretty good.
This team is back.
And they had, like Huni made an incredible play to bring them back in that game when they were probably, like, pretty far down early on. He goes bot lane, dives, gets the entire team behind him, 4K, and then they roll into Baron, but they lost that lead later on because Team Liquid is just individually better across the board. But it was encouraging to see them like make some of those decisions and kind of nut
also,
they seem to be fixing the issues they were having. I still think they need a new mid. Takeover and K-Duo, neither of them I think really worked. Shenyi, if his attitude problems and he stops locking things in and telling his coach to fuck off, well then maybe he's okay.
It's the NA way, baby.
Yeah, no, I think they'll be much more dangerous next year. We'll see what happens there. But Team Liquid securing first place, then Cloud9, then 100 Thieves, e.g. FlyQuest, Golden Guardians. That's how everything shakes up. I still maintain that TL and C9 are probably cut above and the favorites, clear favorites. But whereas before I had 100 Thieves as like the 10% dark horse, I would probably up that now.
What are we upping it to? Because I actually have a take for you. What are we up? What are we?
I want to hear this take. Give me the take.
Well, let me tell me what you're upping it up to, and then I will either confirm or deny with my take.
I would say that if they play the way they did against Cloud9 in the final series, and they're keeping that level of play and momentum,
sure,
I'd put it like 60-40. You
think they're going to win 60% versus 40%?
No. As in Cloud9 has 60%.
Well, let me tell you something. Cloud9, over their past 5 matches, only 3-2. Lost to TSM, lost to 100 Thieves. Actually, wait a second. Ooh. Wait. I'm sorry, 2-3, because then they lost to fucking FlyQuest. This is not the direction you want to be going if you're supposed to be winning a fucking tournament.
Like, and we're hitting
They're
that
2-3 in the past 5.
100 Thieves going this way, and fucking Cloud9 going this way. And you know what's gonna happen? It's just gonna fucking one team's gonna go.
You know, this podcast is good for a whole lot of fucking a lot of this. Yeah. You know,
well,
we got best of 5s, baby.
Like,
that's literally the point, I guess. I'm a
2.41 money line on 100 Thieves.
Yes,
is that something I could interest you in?
And that's where I was going. I 100% think that 2.4. Cloud9's at 1.58. They are not that favorite. They look like people have started figuring them out. Not denying, hey, look,
now that they lost LS,
playing great.
Now they lost their head coach.
You see, Abadage started playing better.
It's time to switch again.
Abadage was playing much better, which was great. Most importantly, FBI and Huhi just and Close. It's in a way it's a shame how good Summer has been, because I really think Closer or Someday particularly Closer deserves the MVP. Because those two have been phenomenal so far this season. So
Santorin's also looked really good, but I mean the cast made a good point about how that team individually across the board. It's hard to point out one carry, because any game they could just be like, oh, I'm going to carry this game, and then the next guy's going to do it. It's just there's too much firepower almost on TL for anyone to take home MVP, especially in a split that they dominated so much in.
I agree with that. But yeah,
the MVP is going to be Summit, though.
I love the money line, 2.41 on 100 Thieves over Cloud9. I really think we saw kind of an indicator of what happens if 100 Thieves is playing at the level that we expect from them. And it was a really clean match out of them, and they knew how to read Cloud9. Now the question is, can Cloud9 turn that around and counter what 100 Thieves were doing, and how does this play out over a best of 5 series? I'm still giving the edge to Cloud9, and the main reason for that is because I think Abadage has been a weakling for 100 Thieves so far this split, and I also think FBI and Huhi have not been at the level that we expected from them, especially
Nikki,
compared to last year. I mean, like, you had
Nikki,
the conversation of best ADC.
Nikki, you are
Hansama, Berserker. Not fucking FBI.
I know that you're like personally torn on this match, right? Like on this side of you, you're a fucking C9 groupie. You love C9. You've been a Cloud9 fanboy your whole life, and
that's me.
Okay,
baby.
sure, both of you. But on this side, and that's like your heart side.
I'm an
on
OG.
You're an
Cloud9
OG,
fan.
sure. Great. On your brain side, on the side of you that like does reason and logic, it's very small, but it's 100 Thieves.
Very
Right,
nice.
Brandon?
Very tiny.
Yeah.
100 Thieves is the better team right now. Like, let's just fucking cut the shit. 100 Thieves, better fucking team, been playing better, performing. When it came down to nut crunch time, they said they laid the fucking smackdown on this weekend as a little taste for what they're about to get. 100 Thieves, -1.5 at 3.58. Give that to me.
I do like
So I'd like to counter that outright with the Cloud9 -1.5 at 2.17
Wow.
odds, because you're forgetting that this team won the matches that mattered early to put themselves in a position where they were already top 3 and nothing really mattered. Also, they smoked 100 Thieves early in the split. I know recency bias matters in League. And
what are we talking? Week 1? Like, who gives a shit about
Oh,
that?
yeah.
That's so far.
I don't give a
that's
fuck.
So
It doesn't
far
matter.
ago. Who cares? No one cares. And by the way,
listen.
if you're not first,
Then you're
Cloud9
last.
was fighting for first.
Then you're
and
last.
they didn't fucking
If you're not
get
first,
it.
doesn't
you're last.
matter.
Win.
Cloud9 is
They
the
could-
better
how,
team.
but how,
That's what you guys are
they
not
first place?
understanding.
Are they first place?
No, neither team's in first place.
Then they
That's
equal.
that's the
then
fa-
they
but-
equal. Then at minimum.
The fact of the matter is that neither team's in first place. That's
Let's
all that
go.
matters. Yeah, 100 Thieves won a recent game.
Scott,
Who the
Scotty.
fuck cares? It's a best of 5. Cloud9 has
Scotty,
the better roster.
I see a little
Based
wager
on-
between you and me. Tin Bonski's money line, just a straight up money line. I think we're both on equal sides of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take you at 10. Listen, I don't think that the odds are fair for
So you think-
Cloud9. I don't think they're good on the money line, but I do think that if Cloud9 is going to win this series, which they
Then it's
are,
gonna be a clap?
it's going to be a -1.5, easy 3-1 situation. I don't think there's any pressure on them this series. I think they take this home easy.
Wow.
Also, like, Summit's about to diff again.
By the way,
you guys are not
if
ready
we
for
are
this.
about to look at the last seven games, apart from a couple of teams that went overboard. Patch 12.05, Scotty.
That's all that matters.
So if we're looking
That's
at
all that
statistics,
matters.
We're looking at statistics.
What do they say? Read it out to me.
Cloud9 and 100 Thieves are like neck and neck. You have 100 Thieves has a better CKPM. GPR Cloud9 has the better one. Then GSPD 100 Thieves has the better one.
Mid-late
They're
rating,
essentially tied for the
drastically
early
different.
game rating, and the mid to late game rating. This is the big one. Cloud9 -7.5.
Also, Nikki.
Scotty, do you want to guess?
Nikki,
Do you want to guess how good?
You guys aren't hearing
wanna
me.
guess?
You're not really hearing me.
21.4.
Nikki,
I don't
you're
think
missing
you
the most
understand what
important
I'm saying.
stat, though. And this is the single most important stat.
First blood.
Wins 4-6, losses 1-3. I rest your case. 100 Thieves way better team. Let's fucking go. Best of 5 minus
The odds
1.
reflected. It's all there. So,
The odds don't reflect it. The odds are not reflected.
The odds don't reflect those stats at all.
Which is
And
why
that's-
there's
that's-
value.
as in
I don't
as
think
in
there's a lot of
like,
value.
echo.
There's not a lot of value on the
Value
C9
says
money
it.
line. I'm not going to disagree with you guys, but you're forgetting what I'm saying. You're just missing the point here. I don't care that Summit had one bad game because he had an unbelievable fucking split. And that's not just going to stop because he had one bad game against 100
But we're
Thieves.
not talking about
Sure,
one
they
bad
countered him
People
for
are
one
asking
match.
if someone needs to go down
Doesn't
to the academy
matter.
for the playoffs.
Yeah, really.
That's
Are
what-
they?
that's what I've heard
But
people
that's
asking.
That's right.
But Scotty, I'm not.
Summit probable MVP.
Also,
I'm talking about
Scoot, to your
7
point,
games.
first blood, 71% for my beloved 100 Thieves. An abysmal 29% for your shitty ass Cloud9. Let's
That's fine.
go.
We don't need the first.
Scotty,
kill.
seriously, I'm talking about 7
Trade it for a
games.
tower.
I'm not talking about 1. I'm talking about this is statistics over 7 games. That's a
Do
substantial
you know how to
amount
count?
of the season.
1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4.
You guys are on the same
5,
side here.
6,
I
7.
don't care.
Yeah, but-
getting Chris to yell your point
No,
after you,
I
it's not,
but
it doesn't
Scotty,
make me.
what is your apart from you don't care? What's your like rational argument?
I'm telling. Listen,
No, like,
there's not a
reason-
lot of
reason
rational.
will
There's
prevail.
no. There's no. It actually won't. It's esports. You're forgetting what we're talking about right now. Reason doesn't prevail.
right.
Why did EDG fucking win Worlds last year?
Are you saying that often in esports the underdog comes out on top?
I'm saying often
Are
in
you saying
esports,
that-
the team with the better story will win.
And who has the better story than Brand?
Cloud9.
The cripple.
Cloud9.
Then 100 Thieves, who, well, he is. You can say that word. It's fine.
He said brand. I mean,
100 Thieves are
Brand
the
Stark.
reigning champs who go through a slump, struggling, barely make it to third place, 7-game win streak, going up against the
Champions.
Titans of the Cloud9,
Champions.
who have sat
that
in
just
first
sounds
place
to me
so
like a
good.
team that
Suddenly-
got fucking
Ooh.
complacent and forgot to practice. That's all that sounds like.
All right, well, $10
you're
will
biased.
decide this.
The
Exactly.
struggles will continue. I mean, listen, I'm just hedging the money I'm farming off of you from Call of Duty, so it's all good.
What do you
He
mean?
still hasn't-
I'm a
he
fucking
still hasn't
optic.
coughed up,
I'm
by the way,
optic.
the $10 he
Team
owes
optic.
me from the start of the season.
Just keep a running tab.
He's
so-
team optic.
Yeah,
He's team
exactly.
optic now. He's got a bet on Ultra to be top 3 at champs. I'm pretty sure.
I had a quick
That's
look
crazy.
at prop
Good
bets.
luck.
Cloud9 does have a better first turret rate, 86% to 43%.
They're also a better team.
But the odds aren't great. You can get Cloud9 at 1.502. I'm not thrilled by that. Dragons don't have a great odds either. I think the over 3.5 maps isn't a great bet either. It's like 1.4, I think it was, so it's fine.
I mean, first blood for 100 Thieves is very good.
First blood
at
for 100 Thieves is good.
917.
Yeah,
That's
I think
solid.
that's a good one. Yeah, outside of that, I don't think there are many prop bets to kind of jump in on this one, but it should be a banger, and I'm excited because 2 weeks ago, I would have said this is very, very one-sided.
And this
but-
week, it is
This week.
still very, very one-sided.
Exactly, like because
I mean,
what
Liquid's
Cloud9
amazing.
What Cloud9 used to be
Yeah.
is irrelevant. What is relevant now is that
You
they
guys are-
went
you guys are here.
1-2 in the last week and
You're here.
are going downhill. The next match.
Shut up!
The next match is Team Liquid versus EG. And honestly, this is super one-sided for me. Like, I think EG have been getting better and improving some of the issues, but I don't think they're there. And I think TL, when you look at it individually across the board, you have very talented players on TL that can match up talent-wise against EG, and then they have just experience and better shot calling. So
Yeah, I mean, it's truly a tough break for these kids who are just coming into form to walk into a brick wall.
Basically.
That is Team Liquid. Like, I don't think there's a way to get up this. I don't really even think there's a map where they get up it. And if they do, it's going to be like a crazy draft difference or something along those lines. Even so, I think Liquid covers that gap just in experience alone. So
there are a few.
I don't know how EG
there
can
are
pull
a
this
few
off.
juicy bets here. So one, under 3.5 maps, you can get that 2.39. I would say that actually you should go for the -2.5 on Team Liquid at 2.86. I think that's a good bet. Outside of that, it gets, I don't know. You could get under 4.5 maps for over 4.5 maps at 3.18 if you really think this is going to a 5-game series, but it's not. So
Can I just make the look, EG, I think they'll be very happy if they win one. I do pick them to win their next matchup in the
Summer?
losers bracket, whether it be GG or FlyQuest.
Yep.
And honestly, could I see EG beat Cloud9 in the losers bracket?
I think the storyline is there. It's the story.
No, I've literally had enough of you guys.
I could do that.
You guys are gonna make me do drugs after
I
this.
will say that in the last
We do
7
not
games,
condone doing
71%
drugs, by
of
the
the
way.
time,
But we will for an episode eventually.
first Dragon on TL, 71%, 50% for EG. So that might be a bet that is worth looking at. EG's tied for third place in first turret, so I wouldn't go for that one. These are pretty, I think, one-sided matches.
Just that
Cloud9 it's a shame. We'll see how Cloud9 does when it drops down to the lower bracket. I mean, I don't even know. Can they
Let's
even
go.
compete
I
against-
can't
Let's
wait.
go.
I literally
Let's
cannot
go.
wait to record next week. I'm so excited.
Lower bracket.
God, I've had enough.
All
of
right,
you guys.
lower bracket. We have Golden Guardians and FlyQuest.
They're not. They're playing. We don't know who they're playing yet. What do you want?
No,
us
we
to,
don't.
What do you want us to speculate about? We already know. Okay,
Oh.
sorry. One of them will play Cloud9. The other will play EG.
I would
Do
assume
we
what
actually think Either of them.
Because
I just
Golden
wanted to touch
Guardians
on.
play
I just
slower,
wanted to
they're
kind of
gonna-
touch
they're
on the
gonna
fact
play
that
TLs.
Golden Guardians
Who's it,
managed
right?
to get in. FlyQuest managed to hold out, get 5th place.
Surprising.
Surprising. However, I don't
They
see
clutched
an
up.
upset
FlyQuest
happening.
clutched up.
They did. Yeah. They did.
Jose
But then they
Diodio
lost to
came
EG.
in big.
So this is the thing is I don't see them. I think they're a solid 5th place team,
Yep.
but I don't see them really competing with the top 4 teams over a best of 5 is what I'm
Absolutely
getting
not.
at.
No, but I think GG has a better chance to beat a team that drops down than FlyQuest does. I think FlyQuest is like GG's looked better in recent weeks, and they've solved some of that issue that we talked about of them rolling any semblance of a lead that they had early on into a victory.
Yep.
I think they figured out a little bit of how to do that, but the problem is the teams that they figured out how to do it against are like Immortals and some of the shittier teams.
Golden Guardian has the highest ceiling. That's like the potential. The potential is there
Of the two,
to
yeah.
have a big upset.
Yeah, I would
I
agree.
don't know if it's going to happen.
Nikki, we need.
I mean, the odds will be insane, that's for sure, regardless of who drops down. So, good luck.
B&B?
Story's there. A little.
One final
action.
thing to say, B&B?
Just that we need to get you a frontward facing light. Your beautiful
I
face is
know,
very
it's
dark.
really bad, isn't it? I'm
If
like,
you're about to.
trying to-
Who's
so-
winning it all? That's the
100
real
Thieves.
question.
Thank you. Next.
all right, now, next, LEC.
Wait,
I think they play it.
can we go?
What?
Can we go to a different continent first?
Yeah. LCK.
You wanna-
let it go.
you wanna go
let it,
via-
let it rip.
LCK
Let it rip.
finals? Maybe
Let
for
it
a second.
rip.
Go for it. Go.
T1 minus 1.5 at 1.68 odds against GenG after another 3-0 victory.
Yeah.
I mean, come
They
on, it's
are
just it's in the cards. They're
crushing.
literally
Why not
insane.
-2.5 then?
Listen, the minus 2.5 like at 3.15
They're the most
is
dominant
great,
team in the
but,
history of LCK.
But GenG did play them close in a couple of best of threes, so it's worth giving GenG a map to have as their own.
Yeah.
But T1 should win this 3-0.
What if they lost
not
this?
3-1.
What's going to happen? What's the?
That'd be crushing.
It would be the first week that I put a pick on them, and then I would never talk again.
Also, there's a big
I
thing
would
around.
quit.
I think there's a big part of this is people have been talking about how T1 has played weaker teams at times, like with substitutes and so on. So, are they actually this good, or
I mean, they're insane. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah,
That's,
let's-
that's the
let's
best league
not
team in
get
the
it
world
twisted.
right now.
they got to win first?
Let's behave because it's Faker and the boys are probably better than Faker. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Like Gumayushi is fucking disgusting.
All right, now that we've had our little detour, let's get on
Thank you.
over to Europe and recap
Little road
the
trip?
action. I think we kick it off with the obvious Misfits Rogue.
You don't want to
What
pour.
do you
You don't want
guys-
to. You don't want to pour one out for our beloved XL.
I was gonna get to that. Okay. Let's go in reverse. I think great performance from XL. They should be really happy with making playoffs for the first time, taking Vitality, what many claimed were the super team at the start of the split,
Yep.
to a 5-game series. Like, just this is the first time
They were
in
up.
playoffs.
They were up 2-1.
They were up. Yeah.
They didn't close it out.
Yeah, but
They
Vitality got
didn't
their
close it
two
out.
their 1-2 buff.
If they had a little bit more experience, do they win it? And I'm like, yeah, I think they do.
I'll tell you
I
what.
think
This
there's a
this,
real-
team,
Alright, I
this
wanna-
there's a
Vitality
real
team,
shock.
map 4, they would have had to win it in 4. The minute it went to 5,
Yeah,
R.I.P..
that's where it.
No, map 5
Map 5
was
was
over
very
when they
one-sided.
picked Mordekaiser.
Yeah, map 5 was.
It was literally over. I don't understand the pick. I've not seen that champ picked often at all. I don't think ever, at least this split in the two leagues. And when they picked Mordekaiser, Vitality's team broke out laughing across stage. And that is when that map
did
was
they
over.
actually laugh?
So they started laughing.
I
yes.
think
it was
Mordekaiser
an
can
impact
work,
game.
but you've got to. It's a very specific gameplay, and it's. I think unfortunately the issue there was more around the fact that it seemed like it was a bit of a desperation gimmick.
Yeah.
Than a really
by the way, not the time
executed.
to be breaking out desperation gimmicks.
and
Yeah,
that's
it kinda
but that's my
is. I
but that's
mean,
kind of my point
not it,
though
not
is
it.
that I really think that they.
But you
I think that I just look. They don't have the experience.
I
and
think
that's fine.
Well, also the realization is probably that you're in a map 5, right? And you're not supposed to be Vitality. Like they have a super team, obviously, And
They're not that
they
super.
run into probably the best.
We got to stop calling them
hold
a
on.
fucking
They've run
super
it.
team.
Listen, XL ran into the best we've seen Vitality all year, to be clear, first of all. Second of all, as XL in the position that they're in, like, yes, obviously every player believes that they can win the entire thing, of course. Like, you need to be bought into that point. But at the same time, your best bet is to just try to get out of this series at some way that you can, because you're probably going to lose the next one.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what happens. So, it is maybe the time for a gimmick pick. I would have gone Nocturne top lane, but... that's also my favorite pick out there. So.
I think there's a lot. I just the pressure of being on stage, your first best of 5, being against Vitality, the names that are on Vitality. I think there's a lot to be said for this XL roster. There's a lot to be proud of. On the flip side, this is on the one hand probably the best we've ever seen from Vitality. I think we'd all agree on that one.
Yeah,
but it's also like my most disappointed. The fact that they took them 5-game series to beat a first-time playoff team, and they were down 2-1, and it came down to the final game, and essentially XL taking a weird pick. That is a concerning situation.
I mean, let's
for
get to
a
it.
supposed super team to be in.
I mean, the way I read it, like, their draft was solid up until that, and that was their last pick too. It was kind of
Wasn't
just
it a blind
throwout.
pick?
And
Or was it not blind?
no, it wasn't. It was blind into Vitality's last, and that's when they started laughing.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me because this could have been an XL 3-0, I think. Like, I don't think Vitality across the first 3 maps really looked like that good, and then they kind of like flipped the switch for the last 2. And it became
That second map,
Vitality's series.
Vitality was in control. They almost fucking blew it. They were ahead. They almost
That's what I
fucking
mean, though.
choked it away.
Could've- But that's been
They
their
love
thing
choking-
is
they
choking
love
maps
choking
that they
maps
have
when they're
leads.
up.
Like, it was
They
almost
prefer
the
to
same
come from
story,
behind,
and that's a
100%,
3-0
yeah.
if that happens.
Scotty, I think, was it you who said it before we started recording, where you were saying that you felt that Vitality just won off of the back of individual talent?
I think that was Chris.
Nikki
to
was
be
trying
very
to fuck with
clear.
me.
I know he was trying
fucking
to
trolling.
I
I'm
saw
not
your
gonna-
eyes.
I'm not gonna let him. I'm not gonna let
looking-
him. That's
You're
my
boy.
bro right
You're my
there.
boy, Scoot. Don't let fucking Nikki divide us.
B&B,
Can't let him have
you
it.
made-
Not this
you made
week.
this point. So please reiterate your point.
All right, so now Cloud9's gonna win, right?
We got a bet. That's a friendly bet. No, I think, look, that was my point when we were off air. I'm happy to bring it on air, which is Vitality wins based on them winning their individual matchups, but they don't win as a team, right? And so I think on a player-by-player basis, on a talent-by-talent basis, Vitality is the better team than XL, and you kind of saw it end up kind of going that way. But when it comes to them having team fights, and when it comes to them actually having a cohesive strategy and them kind of leveling up their champions and then doing the objectives collectively and seamlessly moving across the map to win in a way that you're going to have to, in the way that we saw Rogue time and time again do, in the way we've seen Fnatic, and the way we've even seen G2. They didn't do it against Fnatic because Fnatic's just a superior team at the moment. But look, G2's playing Fnatic, or G2 is playing Vitality next, and they've pitted it as this big matchup between fucking Perks and his former team, which, I mean, if I'm fucking Carlos and the G2 boys, I'm like, that's a joke. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You can try and make that drama if you want, but no chance. Vitality, Scoot, I hear you. That last game was by far their best so far, but it is not something that across that series, I don't think that's something we can bank on as they look to play G2.
Yeah,
Well, it's against the worst team in playoffs.
Exactly.
It's
By
XL.
far.
I mean, like,
the most inexperienced.
it's only as
Where
good
they-
as it
where
is.
they picked
you
up
know?
Mordecai.
Yeah.
Blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of threw from the draft. So, like, it's not crazy impressive. They just did kind of what they needed to do, considering the situation that they were put in, and good on them for doing it. I don't disagree that I think they're walking into a team that's better than them in G2, at least in current form as well.
And that was going to be my kind of next. So, like, if we roll on up.
Let's roll it on up.
Let's Rogue G2. I was actually really impressed by G2. I have to say, like, I think actually both upper bracket matches.
Very fun.
I think Misfits and G2. I came away from this going like, you guys are real contenders with a bit more experience. Particularly G2. I think Misfits has some other issues, which we can get into later. But I just thought G2 played the map really well. They just came up against a team that I think is as skilled as them, and just was a little bit more on point.
Especially like game 4, it felt like
yeah.
G2 could have fucking gotten that one.
Yeah. And they did really well in game 2, but even game 1, like, Fnatic had a real lead.
Yep.
We're doing really well, and then there was this kind of like one moment where it got a little bit shaky, and it was fine. It's kind of like not really shaky, but just a few moments. The thing that I took away from the Fnatic game against G2 is that Fnatic's players across the board really stepped up, and Cheese was talking about Humanoid, and I think he played phenomenally. He was talking about Wonder and top lane, but I was actually watching Razork, and he was just playing so well and in all the right places. And a couple of times when Upset needed to step up, he did. So this is a team with 5 legitimate threats.
They have the highest ceiling in playoffs. I'm not afraid to say that. I think if
I mean,
all
you're not
5
afraid
of those
to say
players
a lot
are
of things, so that's great. You keep being
no. They have the highest ceiling in playoffs. If all 5 of those players are firing, they're a better roster than Rogue. But I think the story across both matches is just like a class difference. I mean, it's been 1 and 2 the entire year. There's not really been a question about that. It's always been Fnatic and Rogue, and I think the same story is just true. Like, it's your 3rd and your 4th place team just not competing with 1 and 2 at the level that they need to. And of course, like, I'm more optimistic for G2, and I have been since about the middle of the split, just because I think they're younger, and I think they have more of an opportunity to grow,
but they're not
which
that
will
young.
happen with time.
They have like
Caps will
I
watch up
guess
too.
Broken Blade is kind of, but I think the thing is Caps hasn't been playing the best. Not bad, just not the best.
Yeah, Caps is kind of old. That's the one glaring area.
Hashtag the next Clayster.
But I think
G2 and mid laners,
Flacked and Targamas have been really good, and Broken Blade have been really good additions to the team. And
honestly, Targamas could
cause...
never play well. I just enjoy saying his name. I just love saying Targamas.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
There's not a lot of glory in what he does. I feel like he's just yanking people out of fights and shit. And like, you get him on Nautilus, he's just always hooking. But I don't know. Yeah, they've been impressive. I think that's the one thing that stood out for me is that we walked into the season, it's like, those are the 2 question marks is bot lane.
Yeah.
And they looked a lot better than I expected them to at the beginning of the year. Especially when they put the roster together, I was like, okay, these are 2 names I haven't really heard that much. So how is this going to work out?
I'm excited for... Good. I don't think G2 is going to come out of this and like win this split in an upset. Maybe they do. And especially after seeing how they match up against Fnatic. I think just Fnatic was really good. But I am excited to kind of see what they do next split because, once again, this is the first time Flacked and Targamas have played on stage in the playoff series. It's a good situation. And they're matching up against a Vitality team who individually, very talented, but not playing as a team. And so for me, I'm looking at this matchup, and I am really leaning towards G2. And so the odds I have are pretty even. You have 1.833 for G2 and a 1.99 for Vitality. I love that 1.833 on G2. I just think they are the better team.
Yeah, I even had it at 1.79. I would take that as well, but like 1.833 I think is solid across the board. I mean, there's just no reason to doubt this. They were in the winner's bracket for a reason. Vitality looked good-ish against XL, but it's XL. I mean, it's
let's take it one.
Let's
take it one step further. The -1.5. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Why would we?
2.61.
2.61. Why would we think that what happened against XL, where they should have possibly, to use your word, Scoot, should have possibly lost 3-0. Should have really probably at least lost 4-1.
Even if it's a 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. I mean, so a -1.5 at 2.61 for I think we can all agree just a better team, right? Again, like if you went matchup by matchup, probably Vitality's more talented across the board, but G2, I got good feelings on this.
I think if Vitality wins this series, we have to start having the conversation.
What conversation is that?
The one where Vitality actually hits final form during these playoffs and just pulls a Mad Lions triple reverse.
I love that comparison Because if they start smelling like if that game 5 against Excel was like what awakened the beast, and like all of a sudden they're like, wait, we can play together. Watch out.
I mean, Fnatic last year went full losers 3-2 every match and ended up in a final, which was insane. Did they? They pulled it off too,
No,
right?
they lost. But
they lost in the
getting to
final.
final,
Yeah.
they still made it to Worlds.
Yeah, and it was insane. And I mean, like, that's why I like this format. Like, anything's possible. It just feels like Vitality
Only
is not
one
the
team
Fnatic
makes
of
it to
last year
MSI,
that had
though.
the crazy ceiling that they had in Map 5.
Only one.
We'll see. I listen. They have that buff though. The perks down buff, which
if they do, I think you bring up a good point. Like if they win as a team, they're very dangerous. But at the moment, I saw a G2 that was individually talented and played well as a team, and that had multiple threats in the way that they've played. Jankos was playing out of his mind. I think Broken Blade did a really good job. So I love the -1.5. That's like the bet
can't disagree.
I'd go for.
I mean, current state, there's no reason to disagree with that. To be very clear,
One more match.
I'm just saying
disagree.
if they became insane again.
Again, they were never insane.
always
they were
on the
never
table.
insane.
Yeah, they were never great.
No,
They were never
the
good as a
players.
team.
One
No
more
ex-
kind of big match, I think, to recap. Rogue versus Misfits. Again, I think Misfits, really good showing. Like, strong performance. But I think they have individual players, like that, a lot more individual mistakes. Incredible job holding on to try and get that end game upset, which they're known for. But Rogue was just really clean across the board and showed a flexibility in.
I mean, they put the foot down
The way
on
they
fucking
can
map
carry.
4. Just a fucking
huge. Stomper.
absolute.
I mean, we talked about this though, like inconsistency. Like, I think Mad Lions' biggest problem, or not Mad Lions, sorry, Misfits, is just being inconsistent and not like they have that level of play where they can compete with
Yep.
top dogs, but like it's not going to work against Rogue. Like you can't just pull that out randomly and be like a good team. But like Rogue is just going to play clean league across the board, and they've proven that for an entire split. It didn't change in playoffs. It has never changed in playoffs until finals. But we'll see what happens when we get there because we're looking at the same arc
I think
again.
the hard part was it just high rate up top. It just felt like the top lane kept getting kind of exposed, and they knew that they had
I wasn't
that.
mad about Schlatten either. Yeah, heard it. Yeah, it's just I think they have weaknesses across the board, and in a best of one, you can hold out for some sort of upset in the end game, which is how they got their wins. In a best of 5, it doesn't happen over.
But what's
3,
interesting
4,
is that
5
they're all the
games.
way into round 3, so they will be playing the winner of G2 Vitality.
Yeah.
That bugs me. I feel like G2 had a better performance, but you know, that's the way it works.
That's the way
just
the
what
cookie
happens.
crumbles.
You hit that upper bracket. That's the way.
I mean, I'd rather have Vitality play Misfits and then G2 if we want to see Vitality just step.
I don't disagree
each
with
way
that.
up the
But
ladder.
this is
I'm
where
not-
G2 can just fucking squash the bug before they get to.
But if G2 doesn't
Then
squash
watch
the
out.
bug, they're gonna
Then
beat
watch
Misfits
out.
too.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat Misfits, and then they're playing for a final, which gets really weird because it's gonna be Fnatic or Rogue.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know.
This
There's
is
a-
actually kind of a crazy, and I know we're I think a week before talking about this. We're not talking about the Rogue. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is wild. The Rogue Fnatic match, and the reason to me it's wild is because it's a preview of the final.
should be.
These two teams get to play each other twice, so this is just going to be an amazing match to watch to see what they do. Because I don't think whoever wins, I don't think is necessarily going to feel great, and whoever loses, I don't think is going to be that concerned. They'll have learned so much from this, and I mean, all my bets are basically seeing this go 5. I don't think you're going to see one team really completely wipe out the other, and I think that they'll be learning from each other so much. Like the over 4.5 at 2.85 is by far my favorite bet on this match.
The concern becomes, what if you don't make it to finals? That's about the only thing that I can think of. I mean, yeah, sure, they should win against whoever comes up against them, but
You're either playing Misfits again, or
there
you're
is a
playing
possibility.
G2 again, or you're playing Vitality, which is the only team that neither of those teams
and
would
you'd
have
be
seen.
you'd be playing Vitality on 3 straight series wins, and that can get a little tricky.
It could.
Because listen, momentum matters a lot, and it always
It
has.
does. Like energy, I think confidence and like they talk about it a lot actually in NA a little bit. Is like the team that wins is the one that doesn't implode. And I think these sorts of matches, when you're getting to it, where, you know, Rogue has a history, and they talked about, actually someone said that last year, like even at Worlds, Rogue was really, they were not in a good place because of the losses that
were they
faced.
referring to the best of three network and the three amigos here sitting around this round table? Because we've been saying it.
I've always been fade Rogue.
We've all been on that.
Obviously.
But they, you know, so I think
gotta continue.
If you win here in a good way, it can carry you a lot. Like you can feel really good. If you lose in a competitive way, that's not too bad.
That could scare you. Actually,
this.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you. If you lose and you're like, "Fuck, we thought we did everything right." Now you're concerned. If you just get, like, do a bunch of fucking dumb shit and you get wiped off the face, you're like, "Oh, whatever. That was just a bad match. We just didn't show up."
Yeah, but every esports pro is always going to be like, "Oh, we could have won that one."
I meant like if you just get beaten, like the way that G2 got beaten by Fnatic, I think just kind of tells me Fnatic is the better team. So that's just like straight up.
Sure, but I think that these two teams are closer to each other than anyone else. Like G2 to Fnatic, or Misfits to Fnatic, or Rogue, or G2 to Rogue. Like there's like a top two, and then like everybody else.
Yeah, but what I mean by a competitive series is like, let's say you misplay a team fight. I actually think you walk away and go, okay, you know what? Like there's a variance. We have a 50-50 here. Like we're good enough that it's going to come down to these 50-50 moments. We got our 50-50 out early. In finals, we're going to win. Because we know we can win. We just had like one misplay, or we had one skill shot miss or something like that. And I think you might have the confidence there where you're like, oh, we really... Because, for example, XL should walk away with the confidence that, hey, actually, barring game 5, we could have won that series. So are they still afraid of Vitality? I don't think so. And I wonder if that's...
No, probably not. Why would they be? Why would anyone currently be afraid of Vitality?
All right, Rogue versus Fnatic. I have Rogue at 1.86 and Fnatic at 1.96. So Fnatic, the underdogs, I understand it. I love the over 4.5 maps at 2.85. I think that is a phenomenal bet. I'm on terms of, I think I'm leaning towards Rogue as a Rogue fanboy. I also just think that Rogue was a little bit cleaner in their wins. They did have a small Rogue time at around the 20 to 25 minutes mark where things got a little shaky. Whereas in the Fnatic G2 series, I felt like Fnatic had a stronger lead, but a couple of times in the early game, they gave opportunities to G2. And they were a bit shakier at times, like a little bit less focused. Then I think but that being said, G2 is a better opponent than Misfits.
I do want to say
this is no.
I just want to say, and I cannot get this out of my head, and I want to root for Fnatic. I really do, actually. Like as much as of a Rogue kind of fanboy as we've been, but it goes back to just like them being habitually undervalued, right? To your point, like they used to be like last place. They used to be the fucking worst of the worst. And then they got better, and they were habitually undervalued, and we loved making money on that. That was great. And it feels like they're at a place now where, you know, they were struggling with G2 for a while, and now they kind of feel like they're the top dogs in the league. But with all that said, like Fnatic's got the history. I want to root for Fnatic, but I cannot get that one game that Fnatic played against G2 out of my head where Hylissang got absolutely exposed. And it's there. It's in my head. And he just
walked. He just made some. There was like one or two plays where
I mean, Hylissang MVP had a bad map. Sorry,
no,
I don't know what MVP. To tell you. It happens. He literally is.
It is concerning. And so I'm gonna go with.
No. This is listen.
And not only that,
here's where I'm coming from. This is where I'm coming from. Yeah, listen. Justified to pick Rogue, right? Rogue's a great team. They suck in playoffs. It's whatever. But this is the same story I've been preaching all season, which is that I still believe that Fnatic has a higher ceiling, and it now comes down to if that ceiling comes out in 3 out of 5 games. This probably will go 4 or 5, like almost certainly. I don't think anyone's 3-0ing. but I think Fnatic edges this just on because I think Rogue is the better team. Like they've played better league across the entire season. Obviously, I positionally like 1-to-1s across the board. I don't really know who has the exact advantage.
I think it's like I gave it. You have one to Odamne, both phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, it's like power top versus power bottom, right? Like, well, okay, we can't say that. No, but I mean, we're talking first team was like Rogue top lane and Fnatic bot lane. Like, yes, you have advantages on certain parts of the map.
Phenomenal.
But like the other sides of their map, it's not that there's not that much difference between the two, right? I just think that Fnatic can play to a higher level when all 5 of those players are together and absolutely firing. And Rogue seems to be committed to like they are very good at team play, and that is fundamentally what they're good at. But can they have like a pull out carry like Fnatic can?
Oh yeah, they definitely. We saw that.
Yes,
but I think they have the fundamentals.
Do it against Fnatic.
They have the fundamentals, and I think they have that. I kind of agree with you though that I think that Fnatic does have a higher seeding. I think I do.
I agree.
I think I do agree with that.
It's just a more interesting team.
But I think
they
Rogue
play more
is
electric league. Like
yes.
No, literally 100%. Yeah. That is my whole argument. Is
and
that Rogue has been a better team the entire split.
I think over
Fnatic is capable.
Best of 5, a more consistent, and over a playoff series where we're having multiple best of 5s. I think consistency wins.
Consistency matters.
So. I actually don't
way
think
more.
So.
Unless Fnatic wakes up hot on that day. But if they don't wake up hot on that day, they drop to losers bracket.
Fnatic for me is a team between the two that is more capable of pulling a playoff, like just in a match where they're down and they shouldn't win it. Mm. Just like they seem to be the more capable team of just having that electric moment and maybe one that even stuns your opponent into like mental lockup. But like
I think
I don't entirely know where it comes from.
They just is the type of team that also can get locked into a certain. Like, this is what we're going to do, and it's going to work, and then it doesn't, and they go, run it back. We've got this. And then it doesn't, and then they lose. And it's like, ooh, that's a bit of a... I think it's going to be incredibly close, and I'm really excited for this matchup. It's going to be a fun match.
Well, just to close things out, to close this out, they went 1-1 in the regular season. So...
I've got Fnatic here, by the way.
I love that.
Just like to
I
be
think
clear.
I also have Fnatic. I wouldn't bet on this game. It's just a feeling. I wouldn't bet on this game because I don't think there's enough value straight up. Like I said, my favorite bet is...
This is like a friendly wager game. I want to bet on it against you guys.
Sure.
Not
I mean, you're essentially friendly wagering the book.
I mean, but that's
you're getting even odds.
When the book wins, I'm angry at the book.
Yeah.
When you guys win, it's
You're
good content and it's fun, and I'm kind of
You're angry at us, but it's content.
It's fun when you guys win.
I think the one thing I would also say, like I said, my favorite bet...
But it means we've got a clip for
my
YouTube
favorite
shorts.
bet is over 2.85, or over 4.5 at 2.85.
I hate it when it goes 2.85.
Unequivocally. Unequivocally.
Is it going to be 2.84 or 2.86 maps?
And just to really put a real nightcap on this lovely pod, the 4th place team in the LEC, which was G2, went 11-7 for a cool 61% win chance, and their 6th place team, which was Team Vitality and XL, they tied, were both 50% at 9-9. So, like, again, just the appropriate way for a league to figure out who deserves to be in playoffs.
I mean, yeah, we all agree.
I think LEC has been more competitive. Whereas the LCS had 3 top heavy teams. Because honestly, we gave a lot of shit to 100 Thieves during regular season. They're 1 win behind Cloud9. So, and they've been 1 win behind Cloud9 and TL the whole season. So it's not like, anything special. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Best of 3 Network. You can find a link to our Discord. Come join us. Lots of fun chats and great minds in there. Give us shit if you do not believe in our takes. Agree with us if you do. But most importantly, we have just launched our YouTube channel. So we would love it if you found it, Best of 3 Network, and give it a subscribe, watch these videos, give them a like, That's about it, I think. Last words?
Later.
YouTube, just everything on YouTube.
Just
basically.
YouTube everything.
Just
YouTube
fucking
everything. YouTube everything. Discord everything. Twitter everything. Follow us, like, subscribe, all of that good shit. Check out our sister podcast, The Money Hill, if you're interested in Call of Duty.
I will say
they're about to have a major.
It's a great compliment.
Awesome.
It's a great compliment.
It's an awesome little show. Thank you everyone for supporting us, and we will see you next week.
Bet on T1. Bet on Cloud9. To do that.
Toodaloo.
I hate it.